were you guys ever forced to do something, right? While you guys were playing, where you didn't want to, but you had to for your job?
Well, we played in Korea.
Yeah, we played in Korea. I mean, like
basically every day.
Every single
Practicing
day.
3 times a day, or
I mean,
tell me about some of that.
everything. We changed our position. We had to play like, I mean, you name it from top to bottom. Coming here, we couldn't. Well,
Living in a facility where you can't live.
Yeah, we had to live in a place where we couldn't leave. You know, we had to go home. I mean, I would leave. I'd get fined to go home and.
So how much is a typical fine?
I mean, they fined me a month's salary for staying home to take care of my dad and stuff.
A month's salary?
Yeah, and that time my salary was pretty good.
That's a lot of money, man.
I mean, it's like you talk. I mean, everyone has to make certain sacrifice, right?
Yeah.
So we understood that. We made the sacrifice to play here, but I mean, yeah. I mean, coming here was definitely a shock. The way athletes are, the way the life of an athlete is here in Korea was shocking.
It's gotten a lot better. Yeah. It's gotten a lot better. Yeah. But there was a lot of just, practicing when you're definitely injured and you go to the hospital and they say you have stress fractures and.
Okay, so you tell the coach, hey,
you got all this.
And what does the coach say?
He's like, hey, you got to do it for the team. So, and then you're out there running, and you're out there the whole time. You're thinking, ow, 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 as you're running, and you're like, why am I doing this?
They'll say, like, what, you think you're the only one that's hurt?
Oh,
yeah.
You special?
I mean, that's still going on in the professional.
It's very
now.
Bobby Knight out here.
Yeah.
They've moved on the rest of the world and realized that athletes are people. They're not foot soldiers. And so I think motivation, it's not the stick anymore. It's the carrot. Like they're using the carrot more all around the world. In Korea, they're still using the stick, but it's changing. It's changing.
The tough thing is that Korea's had incredible results with this technique over the history of sports in Korea. For a really small country to have the success we've had.
That's true.
So it's like, well, I mean, can you say, like, hey, this doesn't work? It has in Korea. It's been very, very successful here. But like understanding that what we know now, if we use a different technique, could we be more successful with the kind of athletes that we have?
Now, this is what I do agree on certain sports, but I think with basketball, right? Is Korea a basketball powerhouse?
We dominated Asia for a long, not now, but we dominated Asia for a long time.
The women took the silver in the 80.
Women 84 Olympics. 84, they went to silver.
But I also think sports has evolved. So like, think about back when everyone was doing cocaine and not practicing and just smoking cigarettes. If you just had a good diet, you had a high competitive advantage, right? So nowadays, sports is so professional. You have so many experts, so many psychologists in. Back in the day when Korea was winning, they would just practice harder than everybody else. And you could win by being in better condition than other people. But now everybody is in good shape. So
I think it's like this. If you look at the state of Korean basketball compared to Asia, or let's say Asia, because the world is pretty big. I don't think Korean basketball's gotten worse. It just hasn't gotten better.
Yeah,
I think that our level is about the same. When we got to a level where we were really good and we were dominating Asia, then we got that level and we haven't gotten better. But every other nation, Asia has.
It's a strategy that worked in the past that Korea hasn't kind of what do you call it? They haven't changed with the times.
Because I mean, the old ideology was like more practice equals better results, and we bought into that wholeheartedly in Korea. But every sport.
There's definitely, like with every strategy, you're always going to hit your limit. And then you got to find a new strategy to kind of bust through that
evolve,
limit.
Because they talk about LeBron's little chamber that he sleeps in. You guys have read about that, right? I mean, that's the part
he's
of
a guy that's using every strategy from the original strategy of just being bigger and stronger and faster to, everything that LeBron does. It's very interesting to see how he's trying to break through his walls, whether it's aging, whether it's whatever.
But on that note, all those technological things that LeBron is using, we have all that in Korea. We've been in those chambers. We've done the VO2 max. Everything that he's using, we've used. We just don't rest.
Yeah.
So like all the things that LeBron's taking, whether it's vitamins, like the doctors, all that, we have all that. We have access to all that information and technology, and those machines are here. But you can't substitute. There's nothing
physically not.
If you practice for 15 hours a day, like you still need to rest.
Well, they took an American doctor out to Korea and they said it was the same across all sports. The injuries we have in Korea are different than around the world. Right. All of our injuries are overuse injuries, like stress fractures, like just your joints. Whereas American, or other places, you're going to have an injury like where you're playing and you twist your ankle and stuff. Koreans, our problem is just our hips go out early. We overtrain.
So why don't they do something about that? Why don't they just practice less?
I mean,
they're hard to change.
Like things are changing, but like the old ideology is that basically like if a company is like sponsoring, like say like a big company like LG or Samsung, the amount of hours that their regular workers work They think that like, an athlete should work the same amount of hours. But like the way athletes are and what we do and what we need to do is different than someone who works in the office. So like there's some gap there that, it's obviously getting better. I mean, they don't practice as much as they did when we played, but they still like don't understand how important rest is for recovery. Because I mean, Korea's got an amazing like bed like of athletes here. Like everyone's like, oh, we can't compete. No, we can. We have. And like if we incorporate some of these new ideas, some of these new rest techniques and whatnot, I mean, we could do even better than we've done.